They say the best things come in big packages, but today we're looking at an e-bike that comes in a very small package. So this is the HeyBike Mars. It is a 20-inch fat tire, foldable, 12.5 AH 48 volt battery with a 500 watt motor, and overall for its size it is spec'd out pretty dang good. It is foldable, so you can stick it in the trunk of your car and go take a trip somewhere and ride your HeyBike around if you'd like to. And the best part is it's only $1,099. So let's get this thing out of the box and see what we're actually looking at. I'm very excited for this one. All right, so here it is, the HeyBike Mars. This was 1000% the easiest bike I have ever set up. It was fully assembled. Besides the handlebars needed to be installed and one bolt tightened down to get those on. Obviously the seat you just drop in and clamp. But besides that, it was fully assembled. I didn't have to put the headlight on, didn't have to put a front tire on. All I had to do was tighten down that bolt right there. So overview of specs again, this is a 500 watt hub motor with a 48 volt 12.5 AH battery, and this battery pack is removable as well, which is a great feature if this is a commuter bike for you and you have an extra battery you can just swap right out when you get home. But overall, I would say this is a very good looking, fairly decently spec bike. I mean, for $1,100, I don't know if you can get better than this for the practicality and everything else spec-wise you get on it. The thing I do like about these folding bikes, especially this one being a tad smaller as well, is you can just fold them up and you can literally just throw them in the trunk of your car if you'd like. This bike actually did surprise me as well, having this. This is actually a height setting, and you guys can see it's not circular, so it never goes out of alignment. So if you want to adjust the handlebars, you just pull this, you can raise it up to a freaking like super high height, or you can go down super low. I'll probably leave it about where it was, and because of that the handlebars are still completely straight. You don't often see this on a lot of e-bikes, but this one has it, so there you go. Obviously you have your throttle here, you have the Shimano 7-speed shifter here, and you have your e-bike screen. And another thing I almost forgot to mention is these tires come with the anti-pop liner. I don't know if they're actually anti-pop, but they make it a whole lot harder to pop your tires. And you don't see that very often on e-bikes of this price category straight out of the box. So that's super cool. And the more I'm looking at this bike, the more I'm noticing the practicality parts of this bike, the things that you worry about going out, are all very nice and upgraded parts. All the convenient stuff. For example, the frame is not the biggest. Obviously, those are the parts that they cut costs on, so you guys aren't paying an arm and a leg for it. I'm 6'3", I think I'll fit on this thing just fine. I actually did sit on it one time. As you're tightening this bolt on, you have to align the handlebars so they're straight. So I sat on it one time and I did not feel like I couldn't ride this thing. And I'm 6'3", so I'm sure we'll be fine, but we'll get it out on a test ride tomorrow. I am charging it up right now, so we'll give it a full charge. I will do a full range test on this thing, get my first impressions and my final thoughts. This might be a very small detail, but I love that they actually put their branding on every individual component on their bike. There's a HeyBike on the bike, there's a HeyBike on the battery, and there's a HeyBike even on the charger, which I personally love because the other cheaper e-bikes that I got is a lot of generic stuff, batteries generic, chargers generic. They don't have their branding on any of that stuff. So I actually have to end up labeling things for the other e-bikes. And again, I know it's a small detail, but this one you don't have to label stuff because they have their logos on everything. All right, so that's the overview of the HeyBike. Let's get this thing charged up 100% and just get to it tomorrow. Most e-bikes don't actually need a key to ride it. What I'll probably end up doing is just leaving the key in here, taking the key ring off, having a spare key at home. But we could probably turn it on now that has a key in it. Pretty simple display, but it's functional, it's practical. So, and you're not paying $1,600 for it. So there you go. Surprisingly fun to ride, you know, given the small structure of the frame. I got about 22 miles per hour, it said, so. And it's got a headlight and just overall pretty well put together e-bike.
All right, riding the HeyBike Mars folding e-bike. How about that? Right off the bat, the motor does not feel bad. It's pretty torquey from a standstill, but it obviously isn't climbing hills like super well. Better than the VeloWave e-bike. Dang, the VeloWave was super underpowered for what it should have been. But this is definitely better than that. And oddly enough, being such a small frame bike, this feels very comfortable for me to ride on. And I'm 6'3". Again, I know I keep saying it, but I'm a tall dude and this feels just fine. Says we're getting about 21.5 or so miles per hour. And that does not feel electronically limited. And while we're here, I might as well get a top speed run on the GPS app, see what we're actually getting. See if the speedometer is right or not. We're ready to rock and roll, boys. Let's see how fast we get on this thing. And that's the torque from a get-go. It's nothing special, obviously, but it's enough. You can just, like, you can ride it on just the electric motor and not feel like, you know, it's pushing the bike too hard past its limits or anything. Like, it'll get up and go. Just not super fast. But it's still quick, though. Like, I have no complaints so far for the drivetrain for what you're paying for this thing. No sir, no complaints so far. 21.9 is 22.1 I just saw. 22.2, 22.2, still hanging right around that. So let's see what we actually got here for a top speed. Brakes are definitely fine. They're not crazy, but they're fine. Yeah, 21.2 miles per hour. So that's off by like 1 mile per hour, which isn't bad for a cheaper e-bike of this category. All right, let's get home. Overall, so far, I like this thing. I can't wait to actually try to put this in a trunk, and I'll definitely film a little bit of that for you guys. But this is one of those bikes you can literally just stick in the trunk of your car. If you got an SUV, you could pack all your bags, everything for a weekend trip, and throw this thing in the back at the same time, you know? So, I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot of value in that, you know? And plus, you're not paying an arm and a leg, and it's so portable that you could take it almost anywhere and have a bike fully ready to ride whenever you want. This bike, because it has a little bit smaller wheels, it's like super easy to just throw around. And it feels fun to ride. Like, it doesn't feel like a full-on, like, bike. It feels just like sporty. You can whip it around, super agile, super light. All right, so there you guys have it. Let's see if it climbed the hill. Not bad, not bad. Perfect. All right, let's get this thing on an extended range test. There's my first thoughts on it overall so far. For what you get and the cool, like, practical design of this thing, for right around $1,000, it's hard to say that you can go wrong. But let's get it on an actual full range test. And then once I know the actual specs, the top speed, how far it'll actually go real world use, then I can tell you guys if it's a good bike or not for the price. So let's get it on that full range test, and I'll catch you guys when you get back. I probably won't take you along for that, but I'll catch you guys when I get back.
All right, I just got back with the HeyBike after about an hour and a half of riding around the city, mostly on bike trails, mostly all full throttle, all the way no pedaling, and we got 23.4 miles on the odometer, so about 23 miles on this charge. This bike thoroughly has impressed me for the price. Very practical, very functional, and impressive performance from the HeyBike. For $1,100, the range and speed of this bike is comparable to higher priced bikes. And considering it's a smaller frame, foldable, that you can stick in the trunk of your car, I don't know if you can beat the practicality of this bike. How about that? It's like the smallest car you can get too. So that is the HeyBike. Thoroughly impressed by what you get for $1,100. I'm just very impressed this thing got 23 miles. That's crazy. That really is better than a lot of the other bikes in the $1,000, $1,500, $1,600 range. This one just beat out the Velo Wave e-bike, which is $1,600 that I just reviewed like 3 days ago. This one beat that out as far as range and speed goes. And it's foldable, and it's more fun to ride, in my opinion. I was really rooting for this bike, and it actually did pull it off. So I can highly recommend this bike for about $1,100. And I don't know if they have coupon codes or not, you know, running for like $100 off or something more. Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this informative. And if you're in the market for a folding e-bike, I definitely recommend you guys check this out. There's a link in the description. I'll throw it there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time.